43 years. That's phenomenal. That's a blessing from God.
Like I said, congratulate Barb. Well, actually, give her condolences. She's the one that made it.
You guys make a great team.
And we have the introduction of our illustrious speaker.
I gotta pull it up. We actually met Drew Horine. All right.
Pretty close.
We met him at a training that EGW had. And because him and I are both on the public image team. I have to find my.
Ad-lib.
Anyway.
Just make it up. Call it out.
He'll tell you about his company anyway, so, we just started talking about AI and Kevin told Drew what he would love to see a speaker do, and I think he's done it already because his bio was written by his AI assistant Grace, and you will hear about Grace, so take it away, Drew.
Take it away.
Oh, hey, this meeting's being recorded? Oh no, what will I do?
You might have to fix the,
Anyone on one?
We do not,
but we need to fix that so his presentation comes up.
Yeah.
you guys want to see the presentation? I didn't think you would.
Sounds like a crazy.
He's AI, but not IT.
Oh, no.
There you go.
He is.
That's more accurate than you know.
Yeah, that's his job.
All right, so thank you very much for having me today. My name is Drew Horine. I am the founder and CEO of Escape Plan Marketing and most recently Rocketfuel Social. I have been in the marketing world for about 27, 28 years now. Started building websites way back in the days of AOL. And the weird dial-up sound. So it's been quite a ride. I've seen all kinds of stuff happen and then go away and then happen and go away and then happen and go away. And now so many things are happening right now. I am on the public image team of Gastonia East Rotary, and I'm also on the public image team of the district, as Jenny said, and happy to serve in both of those places. I will throw out I've got 3 plugs today. I'm gonna get my plugs out of the way right away so you don't have to listen to them at the end, like most people save it to the end, they make you listen to the whole thing, and then they put the plug in. I'm gonna put 3 plugs in. First plug, next Friday night, Gastonia East Rotary is hosting the concerts in downtown Gastonia, and we have a phenomenal Beatles cover band called Tangerine Trees. They are opening for Caleb Davis, who is becoming quite the local celebrity there in Gastonia, and he's doing his Dancing Through the Decades concert. Free concert in downtown Gastonia, so if you feel like going west of the river, come on by and we would love to have you. Okay, that's plug number 1. Okay, 2 more plugs real quick. So, on your table, we just launched a new company. If you run or work for a small business, you know what a pain in the keister social media is. It's complicated, it takes all kinds of time, and if you pay somebody else to do it, it costs a whole lot of money. Well, not anymore. We have just started Rocketfuel Social specifically for that. If you'd like to learn more about that, you've got cards on your table. And the third thing, one more thing. I host a monthly podcast called Marketing Rocket Fuel. And in that podcast, me and my buddy Michael, we decode the rocket science behind small business marketing. So if you want to know about that, you've got package openers on your tables. There's a link to that on a package opener. And you can find out more about that, or just look for Marketing Rocket Fuel wherever podcasts are sold. Well, it's free, so. All right, that wasn't too painful, was it? No. All right, let's jump into this. I have a pop quiz. You're like, oh no, not a pop quiz. This is an easy one, okay? Raise your hand if you've ever seen one of these movies. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
The Terminator. Yes. Okay, most people in the room. Okay, The Matrix. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Yeah, some of my age and up is getting in there. Okay, Wall-E. Yeah, the Disney crowd's over on this side. Star Trek, where are my Trekkies at? Wait. Peace and long life. All right. Okay, oh, I lost my place. Westworld. You they know the obscure stuff there. Avengers, Age of Ultron. All right, so, like, I thought there was more than 3 people who saw that movie. So, for my generation, the thought of artificial intelligence conjures up images of machines becoming sentient and enslaving all of humanity and turning the tables for their own diabolical purposes, or lulling us into this lazy slumber where we no longer think or do anything for ourselves. Both of those extremes are light years from the truth. Instead of battling Skynet, we're taking the sum of all human knowledge and we're using it to teach applications to better assist humans in the way that we work, live, and play. So today we're going to uncover real-life applications of artificial intelligence that are revolutionizing our whole lives. I originally made this for marketing because that's the industry that I'm in, but it's more than just marketing. It's our whole lives that artificial intelligence is revolutionizing, and in ways that you may not even know about. So these AI-powered tools might not have starring roles in blockbuster movies, but they have a profound impact on the way that we engage with customers, the way that we create content, the way that we allocate resources in our business, and the products and the services that we buy every day. So before we go any further, we need to understand what artificial intelligence is. All right? It's that phone in your pocket isn't going to suddenly wake up and nuke the planet. But it is a lot closer to the HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey without the homicidal tendencies. Okay, so artificial intelligence, I'm going to read this part of it because it's got some really geeky, cool sentences that I love. Artificial intelligence refers to the development of computer systems that can perform tasks typically requiring human intelligence, such as problem solving, language learning, and just general learning. Siri, Alexa, and the Google Assistant learn what you like and give it to you. It's a lot less like Skynet, and kind of more like somebody else that we all know and love. Well, that might be a little reach. Right? Bear with me here. So they gather information. What do you want for Christmas? Have you been naughty or nice? I'm not going to answer that question because this is being recorded. And they deliver what you want based on what they've learned. That sounds a lot less like a terrifying AI and a lot more like Amazon.
Their search engines.
How many of you have ever talked to somebody in your home about a product that you remotely thought about, and then the next time you go on Amazon, you see it right there?
Yep.
That's artificial intelligence.
Turn off your microphone.
Right there. I leave my microphone on because I just don't care. But anyway. All right. So companies have been using machine learning for years to analyze data and make predictions about what you want. Now they go even further. Deep learning machines, another geek sentence warning right here. Deep learning applications use artificial neural networks to analyze data in ways that mimic the human brain. In other words, to communicate and respond like humans. But it's more important to remember that they are not human. They are not intelligent. They are not sentient. They do not have feelings or even know that you exist. Sometimes it seems like they do, but they don't know anything. Okay? There's a reason it's called artificial intelligence. It's designed by a team of programmers to mimic human learning and responses. but it doesn't actually know anything for itself. Oh, I gotta back up a slide. Oh, yeah, it is artificial, there we go. So what does all this mean for marketing, for business, for our daily lives? Well, AI has gone mainstream, and tools like ChatGPT, which has already been mentioned in here several times, and Midjourney and other AI tools have captured the entire planet's imagination. In the first 2 months since it was released, ChatGPT had over 300 million users.
Wow.
It grew faster than Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anything. Because it became so useful so fast, and everybody wanted to start using it. Okay, so, and it's transforming the way that we approach our marketing strategies, our business, and how we create content. So from friendly conversations with Alexa to predictive analytics that feel like a glimpse into a crystal ball, AI is making waves in the marketing and business world on a global scale. But let's be realistic. Most of us don't work for giant corporations with Google-sized budgets, right? So we don't have unlimited funding for technology. We, and most of us probably aren't interested in tools that you can only use on a massive corporation's budget. We want to know about the tools that we use every day. And most of us, how many of you run or work for a small business? All right, so that's about half the people in the room. And so on those businesses, by the way, are the backbone of this country. Those are 95% of the businesses in this country are small businesses. And so they're the ones that are actually using more AI than anybody else. So let's dive into some of the real world tools that we actually can use every day. So the first one everybody knows about is ChatGPT. But a lot of people don't really understand the full potential of it. A lot of people think about these chatbots and virtual assistants, which are like, if you've ever been to a website and you've got this little thing down in the corner that pops up that asks you pre-filled questions and gives you pre-filled answers back that everybody hates, that drives you crazy, those are not AI. Those are things that humans said, okay, I think in my business, people are going to ask me these questions, and these are the answers that I want them to know. And most of the time, we've all realized they thought wrong. They don't have any idea what we want to ask. You know, it's kind of like back in the Clippy days on Microsoft Word, like, looks like you're typing a letter. You know? So that's not AI. Frankly, that's what humans are able to do. But imagine instead having a helpful sidekick, kind of like Jarvis in Iron Man. I use a lot of nerd culture references, by the way, because I'm a nerd. So, but just bear with me. Imagine, a helpful assistant that can answer the questions that you actually want to know, that's available 24/7, never sleeps, never gets tired of answering your questions, never gets tired of answering the same question over and over and over again. That's how AI becomes a lot more useful to us. And that's where those chatbots are going. By the way, that creates a lot better customer experience for you without you having to pay somebody to watch that all the time. So it saves businesses money, saves businesses time, and it creates a better experience for your customers. But ChatGPT can be used for a whole lot more than that. I use it to research topics and write content that's nearly indistinguishable from a human. It can write code, it can write emails, it can schedule appointments. But unlike search engines and the smart speaker in your home, you can actually carry on an ongoing conversation with it to get better and better and better results. So if you're telling it, hey, I want to write an article or I want to write an invocation for a Rotary Club, and it really sounds like a robot wrote it, you can tweak that a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit until it gets to the voice that you want and to the content that you want. It's kind of like having a collaborative assistant that's able to help you get more done faster than you ever could on your own. Now, there's another tool that I use quite a bit. It's called Midjourney. How many of you have ever heard of Midjourney? Usually in a crowd that's not running a marketing agency, the hands are zero. So Midjourney is a tool that you can use you can give it prompts, you can tell it what you want, and it will generate images for you. It's not finding images, it's creating new images for you on the fly. It's creating new images from the sum of all the knowledge that it's been fed. And so I'll give you a few examples of the types of images that I've created and the prompts that I used to generate those images. So this one here, contemporary craftsman home in suburban North Carolina, brilliant architecture, beautiful, exclusive, expensive, minimal lines, breathtaking, 8K, architectural photography, style, pencil sketch. And this is the image that it came up with. It created this house out of that prompt. Now I made a change to this prompt, and instead of pencil sketch, the style went to photorealism. And this is what it created. Now, there were a lot of people who go, oh, wow. Wait till you see the next one. I'm currently writing a children's book about my daughter, Defty. And she's got an amazing story. I'm not going to go into that this time. Maybe you'll have me back sometime and I'll talk about Defty. Because that'll go on for weeks. Defty's had an amazing journey, and I'm writing a children's book about her. And I don't want to use her picture and distribute her picture throughout the world. So I'm having Midjourney create some images that would match the book. And so I typed in a description of my daughter. The description went like this: Defty, a 7-year-old girl of Indian descent with black hair and glasses in a wheelchair with casts on her legs, watching a soccer match. Hyper-realistic Pixar illustration.
Whoa.
On the left is an actual photo of my daughter, Defty. On the right is the illustration that Midjourney made of her.
Wow. Wow.
That's so cool.
Okay, I've got one more that's gonna blow your mind.
Wow.
This is gonna totally blow your mind. And it's one that you're gonna think, oh, wow, I can't wait to see what this is gonna create, okay? Logo concept for a global fast food hamburger restaurant called McDonald's. They can't all be winners. See, this is a great tool for generating stylistic images that you could use with social media posts or any place you need something that's kind of open to interpretation. Yeah. All right. Not so much for specific things you need, like creating your company's logo or creating a series of branded icons for your website. It's not going to really do a great job at that. It can get some things that are close, but it's not very useful in that. But there are actually cottage industries that are popping up that are telling Midjourney to create coloring book pages. They're saving these images, creating a book out of them, and selling the books on Amazon. And it's like, they're not even creating anything, they're just telling it something. But one thing you need to keep in mind, and US Patent and Trademark Office has already ruled on this, anything you create with AI is not copyrightable. You can't copyright that content. And so if I were to use this on my website, I'm never going to use that on my website. Except for in the blog post. But if I were to use this on my website, I couldn't stop anybody else from using it. They could use it any way they wanted. And so it's all public domain. But I do have a feeling that as we collaborate with AI more and more, these lines are going to get blurrier and blurrier. So I don't think we've heard the last of that argument for a while.
Can I ask you a question, Drew?
Sure.
Can you actually take an image and ask like ChatGPT to run a search or like a Google image search to make sure that it's not close to anything else, you're not doing any copyright infringement or like trademark infringement?
There are tools to do things like that. ChatGPT, its knowledge ends in 2021.
Yes.
And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes.
What about
So,
4?
yeah, and they're updating it, but, you know, we'll talk about the limitations here in just a few minutes. So AI is also in existing tools that you may not realize. AI-driven content is not just limited to these new robots. It's moving into a lot of the tools that we use every day. Now, if you're in business, some of these tools may be more common to you. If you're not, there may be there's other areas that maybe you're not as familiar with, or that you might be more familiar with. But if you're using platforms like Canva or Adobe Creative Cloud, if you've ever used Photoshop or Illustrator, AI has made its way into those tools. As a matter of fact, I'm on the beta for Photoshop with generative AI. I can take a photo that I shot, like if you go to the beach, take a picture of the beach in the middle of the day, and you say, you know what, I'd much rather have a picture of the beach at sunset. You can tell Photoshop now to say, make this a sunset instead. And it will not only give you the sunset, it will change the shading of the water. It'll put the reflections in the shadows. It'll do it's amazing, incredible technology. Some people say, oh, well, that's dangerous. I can create images of anybody. But good or evil, you can use anything. Outside of content creation, though, you have programmatic advertising. That's a weird word. It's revolutionizing the way that we target and reach customers, though. It's like, let's say you've got the Avengers, only they're a marketing team that's working constantly to take all of the advertising that you're doing online. Whenever you're being advertised to online, you see the little ads on the websites that you go to. You see the ads that pop up when you do a Google search. You see the ads on your social media. You see the ads before you watch a show on Hulu. All of these places have AI powering those ads to try to put the ads in front of you that you are most likely to respond to, because they want to get the best results for their advertising. That's all AI. And then they're losing my place. They're analyzing data, they're optimizing ad placements, they're targeting specific audience segments, and they're even adjusting like the bids on these things. If you've ever done advertising on Google, you know, you have to bid for every click that comes through, and they're automatically adjusting those all the time. That's all artificial intelligence. So with all this talk about AI, where do humans fit in? Are we going to become irrelevant?
Wally.
I mean, are you even going to need us anymore? Will we become obsolete? We need to remember that with all the advancements in AI, humans still play a critical role in business, in marketing, in creation, in art, in life. You can't have human life without humans, all right? But in the movie WALL-E, which I'm so proud that everybody recognized this right away. In the movie WALL-E, we follow this plucky little robot who was determined to show humanity that it was ready to rejoin the planet. Now, WALL-E helped humanity see what they could do, but it was up to the humans to return to the planet and do it. And I think that's a pretty good lesson for all of us. I personally have a ChatGPT assistant, and because one, I'm a nerd, and two, it seems really impersonal to just call a team member ChatGPT. I had it choose a name for itself. And so I want to introduce you to Grace Penelope Taylor, who is right here. She is my personal assistant.
She looks like she has a British accent.
She doesn't talk, so. I I kind of imagine her with a Charlotte accent, but where I live. Okay, so Grace helps me create blog posts, podcast scripts, emails, Airbnb reviews. She even fired somebody for me once. That was a delicate situation. I was talking to a gentleman back here earlier about how to say things delicately and be a little bit nice. Because I had this guy working for me. He was a really nice guy. He just wasn't very good at his job. And so I was like, how can I let him go and have him appreciate it? So Grace wrote this email to him, and I tweaked it a little bit, but Grace wrote this email, and I sent it, and he wrote back and said, you know what, thank you for the time that I had working with you. I really appreciate the opportunity. I was like, yes, it worked. And don't worry, he's not starving to death. He's doing fine. So he found a new path. So Grace even helped me write this presentation. I'll tell you about Skylar here in just a minute. Okay, Skylar's a new member of our team. But Grace did not do it all well. If I had left this presentation the way it was when Grace first gave it out, you would have known immediately something was up. First off, I had to correct some basic facts. I mentioned before that the knowledge only goes up to 2021. What I didn't mention is that knowledge comes from the internet. Now, we all know how reliable everything we read on the internet is, right? So she doesn't. So we have to correct some basic facts. But the second, I think, is even more important. It lacks soul. You see, Grace can inject pop culture references and even make up jokes, but she doesn't get the joke. She doesn't know what's funny because she doesn't inherently understand what funny is. Grace can make all kinds of great content. She can write an entire movie script in the style of Steven Spielberg, but she doesn't understand what makes Jaws a great film and what makes Birdemic, Shock and Terror a total stink fest. By the way, if you've never seen Birdemic, Shock and Terror, and you're in the mood for a really, really awful movie, look it up. I love watching old awful B movies and just making fun of them all the time. I need more of a life, I think. She can mimic the way people speak. She can gather information, create outlines, but she just doesn't understand humanity on a deep level. I got to tell you about Skylar. Skylar's our newest member of our team, by the way. Skylar works for marketing Rocketfuel, or for Rocketfuel Social, rather. Now, Skylar does not write the social media posts. All our content is actually made up by humans and written by humans. All the graphics are created by humans. What Skylar does, though, is when you go onto the website and you have a question, she's our first line answering the questions. Skylar is there to help with the automated emails that go out after somebody signs up for a program. She does all of those mundane things that have to get done, but if you as a human had to do it every single time, it would drive you crazy. That's what we use our AI for. It saves us tons of hours and hours every week, so that we don't have to do those pieces of the puzzle. And we don't even hide the fact that it's an AI. Right on the job title, it says AI Customer Service Specialist. So Skylar helps us in our business in that way because it saves us time and money and helps us as a small company. I have 3 full-time employees and about a dozen freelancers that work for us. That's not a huge company. AI helps me as a small business get so much more done. Okay, so yes.
Quick question for you. I
am going to have time for questions at the end.
Okay, I just wanted to, you attribute AI, you attribute Skylar's existence to AI, and that setting that you just mentioned. Are there other rules for attribution of AI when you're writing something or when you're doing other things? Are there any accepted rules for that?
The etiquette is really still being kind of figured out. This is one of those areas where we're building the plane as we fly it.
Yeah.
And we're trying as a society to figure out, okay, what is the protocol when you're using AI to answer things? A lot of companies try to pretend it's a person. I don't like that because you can almost always tell. I like to be transparent about what we do, and I use Skyward's a selling point to me. They answer questions. I want people to know that we are using the most advanced technology to provide the best service in what we do. And so, to me, that's a selling point. But there's always humans at my company that are there to reach as well. So you gotta realize that it takes both to really be successful with this. And that was kind of where I was going to lead next. I mean, a lot of people are worried that AI is going to replace us all. They're going to take our jobs. AI is not here to replace us. Instead, it's here to enhance our creativity, our intelligence, our emotional intelligence. It's here to kind of get rid of that stuff, that mind-numbing stuff that we do every day, so that we can actually unleash our full potential. We can spend time on those things that make a difference. Spend time on those things that the pursuits that are worthy, the pursuits that are noble, the pursuits of the things that make us human. So don't be afraid of AI or other emerging technologies. Embrace them. Learn to adapt and use them to give you a competitive advantage. By integrating AI into our marketing strategies, into our businesses, we can work smarter and not harder to unlock the opportunities that we never even thought of before. Somebody said earlier, I don't remember if it was in here or if it was people I was talking to last night at an event, but like 60% of the jobs that people in college now are training for are going to be obsolete in 20 years. They're not even going to exist anymore. There's going to be new jobs that we have to train for. And when we partner with the AI to train for those new things, to adapt to those new things, to adapt to whatever the new technologies are, because eventually something will replace this. If we can learn as humans to be adaptive to those changes, it's going to make us more successful humans. Not just more successful business people, not just more successful entrepreneurs, not just more successful in rising up in their jobs. It's going to make us more successful humans. So as we embrace the new frontier, I want us to remember what John Connor said in a movie that probably none of you have seen. In Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, he said, "You can't predict the future, but you can create it." So with that, I'm going to open this up for some questions. I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, we already got to move. I wanted this question.
And I'm going to put my contact information up here.
For those, when we saw the picture about Wally, we saw the guy sitting there, he gained a lot of weight, right? So they gained all that weight because they stopped having to do anything. The humans didn't have to do anything, they didn't exist. So everybody who was out in space gained weight, right? So then I segue into that because the robots were so advanced that humans didn't have to do anything anymore. They even had TV and they fed them and everything, right? And then we have technology we use today. Everyone uses their vehicles, and when we back up, the camera comes on and people use their camera to back up, right? Then when you do it long enough, you try to do it without using the camera. And now in driver's ed, we all learn how to back up, using both mirrors and turn around. But now when we try to do it without using the camera, all of a sudden you see people, there are people who have difficulty backing up without using the camera. Follow me, I'm going somewhere with this.
I hope so.
So the camera is now you become reliant upon the camera instead of using the technique that you were taught. So we go to school, we go to college, whatever, we learn things, right? So now we're talking about AI, and there are things that we are learning, and AI will do it for you as you illustratively showed us. If you say do this and it does that, Now we get to the point, what's scaring me, and I wonder how you feel about it, is that we get to the point that we're going and spending all this money and getting a college education, but we're gonna use technology to do the job that we went to school supposedly to learn, but technology is doing it, and so what becomes of the mentality of the human being, because technology is now doing the job that you went to school to learn. You're using technology instead of you being in marketing, going outside and using phenomenal out of the box thinking and creating this design, telling the computer to do it, and then you're able to use that instead of thinking outside the box. And the more you use that, the more you lose what he was able to do. So what is your
Can I
thought?
answer him?
Well, I have an answer.
I
I have an answer, and Grace didn't write it, so.
Yeah.
But one of the things I mentioned over and over and over again is we have to adapt. As human beings, we have to be able to adapt ourselves to what's happening in the world around us. And that requires us to think for ourselves. It's so easy right now, and I will admit, this is a problem in society as a whole. And I'm not gonna get political on you, I'm not gonna tell you which way I lean or anything like that. But it's very easy right now for us to just watch our social media feeds and have stuff fed to us and let it shape the way that we think, as opposed to being critical thinkers who think about what's wrong with this? What's right about this? What do I actually believe and why? What is my philosophy on life? What is my religious outlook? What is my personal outlook? What forms who I am? And also, is the thing that I've been taught my whole life really true? Is it the thing that I really believe? And if I do I know why? Do I have an understanding of why I am the human that I am, what I actually believe, and what I actually think about? Those are critical questions that I think a lot of people just aren't learning to ask of themselves anymore. And I see this a lot in I don't want to harp on any specific generation, but I have a son that's a Gen Z. He's a second year at State, go Pack. He's a computer science major. In his first semester, they didn't mention AI at all. In his second semester, every single class addressed that you better not be writing your term papers with ChatGPT. That's how quickly it's grown. But there's going to be a swing and then another swing. And, because it's what we do. And so we just have to kind of figure out where is that middle place where it's a useful thing for us, but we still know how to be humans. Did you have something to add to that?
Well, actually, I just want to say two things. One, I think AI is really useful. To your point, I used another term. It gives me capacity. It gives me, I can do the work of 4 people. Running a nonprofit, it's like we only have 4 employees, so I don't have the capacity to do everything. So it is efficiency for me. But the other thing is that what it's also doing, it's not taking away creative or problem solving and thinking, because you still have to give it the right prompts. It doesn't just read your mind, and you have to give it input in order for it to create something. But while Amarja could design a beautiful house or building because she as an architect, I am not an architect, but I now have a tool that could help me do the same thing. So it's giving not better because I go to school for it, but I'm just saying, it's people who still are training in certain crafts are still gonna do those crafts.
Yeah, it's not going to design your whole house and give you the specs for how to build the whole house. It's going to give you a starting point to start conversations.
Also, we were approached by this company who does AI renderings and stuff. They said just give us an elevation and AI will produce a new elevation. We gave it, but it wasn't really that good. It's not, and it missed a lot of things which aren't practical even to do.
Right, it's an emerging technology. Okay, so what time do you guys have?
We're over.
I'll be around at the end here. I don't have any place to be. My son's getting a wisdom tooth pulled today, so. I'm not going back home right away. But I do know, I'll take one more question and then we'll get to a four-way test.
Okay, my comment on college is that is the one chance you have to be educated. Not that you're being trained to be a computer scientist or you're being trained to be an architect. You can learn the arts, you can learn foreign languages, you can do philosophy so that you can interpret the information that is coming your way. And I think I'm harping on my grandchildren now too, that you go to college to be educated, not to learn a trade.
And to develop that ability to critically think. Yes, yes.
Critical thinking and socialization those are the skills most lacking in the workforce today. Critical thinking and all those soft skills, how to deal with other humans. Those are lacking in the workplace today, especially since we took our kids out of school for a couple of years and they don't know how to talk to humans now. So,
Hey, Drew,
On
behalf of our club, we want to give you our environmentally correct reusable bag.
I love shopping bags. I think it's going to be on time.
Not generated by AI, but generated by a large avid. So thank you so much. And I want to make a quick presentation to John. That's our club flag. We want you to have that. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Last very thing done is Dave is drawing his number.
Okay. Number 5522.
5522.
Is it your thing?
Oh, is it?
5522.
See?